It's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference between Merkab and Moshav? With regard to Merkab, touching it is different than carrying it, but with regard to Moshav, touching it is no different than carrying it. A pack saddle of a donkey that one sits upon is tahor, and if one changed the number of holes or opened the holes into one into the other, it is tameh. The beer, the pillow, the mattress of a corpse, these can become tameh with midrash tuma. A bridal chair, a birthing stool of a woman in childbirth, and a laundry seat upon which she stacks the clothing. But Yoshi says these are not subject to the tuma of Moshav. A fishing net is tameh on account of the bottom. Net straps, a bird snare, a wooden snare, and a fisherman's traps are tameh. A fish trap, a bird trap, and a bird cage are tahor. Okay.
Okay, yeah. That's an easy end. Chapter 24 is Baruch Hashem. It's a little bit of an easier chapter because it follows a very standard pattern on every Mishnah. It gives three examples of very similar things, which are different, in that one of them will be subject to midrash tumah, one will be subject to corpse tumah, and one of them will be tahor completely. Okay, and just to refresh, midrash tumah is going to be the things that you sit or lie on, and corpse tumah is anything that you don't sit or lie on but is nonetheless a kli, and that's susceptible to tumah, and you have things that are just completely clear. Okay, so starting off with shields, shlosha trisin, trisa kafuf. So the bent shield. Now that is something that the soldiers also used to sleep on the when they're on the field, I believe. Let's just check that again. It is because they slept on in times of war.
Times of war, right?
Okay, so that's Tamei Midras. And the sporting shields that they use on the sporting grounds, Tamei Tmei Mesa. It's not used for sleeping on, but it's nonetheless it's a metal kli. Yeah, it's a metal kli, so it doesn't need a receptacle. And the play shield of the Arabs is tahor from any form of tumah, because this is it's a very small shield which should be because it doesn't perform any practical function. It's just right, because it's not used as a it's not used for they say it's used for ceremonial attire at times of rejoicing. Okay, so it doesn't have any practical function, and therefore it is completely tahor. Okay, next example, shalosh agalos, 3 different types of carts or wagons. Hasuya ke katedra. So as you see the picture over here, it's made like a katedra, meaning that it's built for sitting on. So since it's built for sitting on, tamei midras. Kamita, if it's made like a bed, so that's kind of misleading, because you think, oh, it's made for lying on. No, it's made as a bed for transporting goods in it. So it's not meant for people to ride in. It's meant to stack goods inside it, and it's got a receptacle, because
this is stacking.
No, this is the like the bed.
Like a bed. It says it's susceptible to becoming tummy with corpse tumor.
That's right. It's not meant for people to sit in or anything like that. It's just meant for transporting goods. So it's nonetheless got a receptacle, and therefore it is got tamei with regular corpse tumor. Vishal avanim, and if you've got a cart that's made for transporting large rocks, that is completely tahor. Why? Because it's got because for moving large rocks, it doesn't have a solid base. It's got slats. Across the base, so the rocks won't fall through, but the holes are big enough to let pomegranates through, and that was our measure for saying, okay, this is no longer a container. So it's so therefore it is completely tahor. Okay, Mishna Gimel, shalosh arebos, the 3 troughs. So if you recall, we had that special case where the kula became a chumrah, where the trough it was originally a feeding trough for animals, and it became cracked so that it couldn't. So it was a sort of a medium-sized feeding trough, And if it became cracked to the point where you couldn't feed the animals from it anymore, it automatically gets midrash tumah, because then people turn it over and use it as a bench. So that's actually our first case, is the Ariva Mishneh Log Tisha Kabin Shenistakai. It was cracked, Tamei Midras, as we learned before. It's not a chiddush over here. It's just being brought with the other types of troughs to show that this one, the cracked one, is Tamei Midras. Shalema, a whole one, is Tamei Mace, because it holds animal feed in it. It's a container, and therefore it's susceptible to regular corpse tumah. But a huge trough, one that holds 40 sa'ah or more, and therefore is immovable once it's full, is we said that Keilim that are too big to be moved when they're full are tahor completely. Okay, nice and simple.
Okay. Right.
Okay, half base.
Okay. There are no. I'm sorry. One book.
Bagpipes.
Okay. Which one did you say? Sure. I'm
Half
sorry.
base. Bagpipes.
Half base. What did I do? Did I move?
And you're in the same volume that we started on. It's just a week ago. Mishna base.
I forgot the tissue. Cuff base or cuff
No,
base?
no, kaf, just Perik kaf Mishna base.
Move the tissue. Okay, here we go. Cuff base. A bagpipe, correct?
Mm-hmm.
A bagpipe is impervious to midrash tumah regarding a trough of persona. Beis Shammai says it is susceptible to midrash tumah. Beis Hillel says it is only susceptible to becoming tummy with corpse tumah. Regarding a trough with a capacity
Is it familiar?
I do. Regarding a trough with a capacity of between 2 logs and 9 cups that is cracked, it is susceptible to becoming tame, and with midrash tumah. And if one left it in the rain and it swelled, it is susceptible to becoming tame with corpse tumah. If he then placed it in the east and it developed a crack and is susceptible to midrash tumah, this is a stringency that applies to the remnant of wooden utensils over the original utensil. And the stringency that applies to the remnants of a wicked utensil over the original utensil is the originally that they are not susceptible to tumah until their time until their rims are secured. And after their rims are secured, even though their rims fell away, it only the smallest amount of the rains remain. They are tummy. Regarding a stick that one made into a handle for an axe, it is considered connected with regard to tumah while in use. Regarding a dista, it is considered connected with regard to tumah while in use. If one set it into a post, it is tummy, but if not considered connected to the post, if one made only that part which it needs is tummy. Regarding a chair that one set into a post, if it is tummy, but if not, if it's considered connected to it. If one made a chair, only its place is tummy. If one attaches to the beam of an olive press, it is tummy, but is not considered connected to it. If one made a chair at the top of the beam, it is a chair. It is tolerant because people say to him, "Stand up so that we may do our work." Okay.
One more.
Regarding a large trough that was too damaged to hold pomegranates and one prepared to sit on, the Rekiva rules a tummy, but the sages rule a tahar until one cuts it. If he made it into a manger, even if he set it in a wall, it is tummy.
Okay.
Okay. Which are we doing now?
Good Gimel.
Okay, got it. Okay. But they're coming to volumes here, so I'm like, regarding the stopper of a barrel that is loose but does not fall off, Rabbi Yehuda says it protects, but the sages say it does not protect. It is if a finger hold is sunk into the barrel when its sheret is inside it, the barrel is tummy. When the sheret is in the barrel, the food inside the finger hold is tummy. Regarding a ball or a coil of reed grass that was placed over the mouth of a barrel, if one places the sides, it is not protected the utensil until he places it above them and below them. And the same is true for a woven cloth. If the cover was of papyrus or of leather and one tied it with a cord, then if one plastered the sides, it is protected the utensil. Regarding a barrel that peeled and its pitch remained intact, similarly, containers of fish brine sealed with gypsum in the rim, Rabbi Yehuda says they do not protect, but the sages say they do protect. If a barrel developed a hole,
So we're done.
that was it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I got this one straightened out.
Okay, tomorrow.
Aleph Aleph. All people can make a tomorrow, but both men and women. But this is not to say, on page, this is not to say that one is permitted to perform a tomorrow act. Rather, if he did perform a tomorrow act, it's effective and he receives 40 lashes. Kohanim can make a tomorrow with offerings of their own, and Yisraelim can make a tomorrow with offerings of their own. However, Kohanim cannot make a tomorrow with a chatas and with an asham or with a bechor, a bechor. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori said, but why cannot the Kohen? Why can the Kohen not make a tomorrow with a bechor? Rabbi Akiva says to him, a katos and an asham are gifts to the Kohen, and a bechor is a gift to the Kohen. Just like the Kohen cannot make a tomorrow with an akatas and asham, so he should not be able to make a tomorrow with a bechor. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori said to Rabbi Akiva, what difference does it make to me whether the Kohen cannot make a tomorrow with a katos or asham in which the Kohen receives no rights during the animal's lifetime? Will you say the same with regard to a bechor in which the Kohen receive rights in lifetime? And Akiva said to him, it had always been stated that it and its substitute shall be holy. Where does sanctity devolve upon the original sacrifice? In the owner's house. So too, a tomorrow act effectively only when the original offering is in the owner's house. We can make a tomorrow from cattle to animals of flocks, and from animals of flocks to cattle, but sheep to goats, and from goats to sheep, that from males to females, and from females to males, from unblemished animals to blemished animals, and from blemished animals to unblemished animals, where it is stated, he shall not exchange it, nor shall he substitute it, whether good for bad or bad for good. What is the case of good for bad? A case of a blemished animal's consecration preceded their blemish. We can make a tomorrow by substituting new consecrated animals for one consecrated animal, and two for one, and even by substituting one for 100 and 100 for one. If Shimon says one cannot make a tomorrow except one for one, but it is stated that it and its substitute shall be holy, just as it, a single animal, so too is substitute to a single animal. We cannot make a tomorrow by substituting unconsecrated limbs for consecrated fetuses, nor by substituting unconsecrated fetuses for consecrated limbs, nor by substituting unconsecrated limbs or fetuses for consecrated whole animals, nor by substituting unconsecrated whole animals for them. Rabbi Yossi says, we can make a Torah by substituting unconsecrated limbs for consecrated whole animals, but not by substituting unconsecrated whole animals for consecrated limbs. Rabbi Yossi said, but it is not the law in the case of directly consecrated animals that if one says, the leg of this animal is here by an ola, its entirety is consecrated as an ola, and so too when one says the leg of this unconsecrated animal shall be substituted for the consecrated animal, the entirety of the substitute should become a tamora in place of the consecrated animal. Okay. And we are in Makos. We only estimate for him blows which is visible by 3. If they estimated that he should receive 40, and he receives some of the lashes, and they said to him that he's unable to receive 40, he is exempted. If they estimated that he could receive 18 and they say he should receive 40, he is exempted. If he committed a transgression, including 2 prohibitions, and they made one estimate for him, he is flogged and is exempted. But if not, he is flogged and recovers and is again flogged. How do they flog him? They bind his 2 hands to a pillow on either side, and the sexton of the synagogue takes hold of his clothes. If they are torn, they are torn. If they are rent, they are rent, until he bears his heart. And a stone is set behind him, on which the sexton of the synagogue stands with a calf-hide strap in his hand, doubled over 2 and 2 into 4 and 4, and 2 straps rising and falling on it. Its handle is a hand's breadth, and its width is a hand's breadth, and the end reaches his navel. And if he strikes him 1/3 on his front, 2/3 on the back, if he does not strike him either standing or sitting, and he does not strike him standing or sitting, but only inclining, as it is stated, and the judge shall cause him to lie down, and he who strikes with one hand with all his strength.
Yeah.
And we are in Beta. Where do I put this in the wrong place? Hey?
Yeah.
The burning coal is at the feet of its owner, but a flame can be taken everywhere. Using a coal belonging to the temple incurs a milah sacrifice, but concerning a flame, we may not use it, yet we do not incur a milah sacrifice. One who takes a coal out of a private domain to a public domain incurs a sin offering, but if one carries out a flame, he is exempt. The water in a pit belonging to a private individual is at the feet of that individual, the water in one belonging to the people of that town is at the feet of the people of the town. But the water in those set aside for the Babylonian pilgrims is as if one of them draws the water. One produce was in another town, and the people of that town made up an Arab in order to bring some of the produce to him. They may not bring the produce to him, but if he made an Arab, his produce is as himself. If one invited guests, they may not take portions. They may not take portions with them unless they have given them possession of their portions before Yom Tov. We may neither water nor slaughter large range animals, but we may water and slaughter domesticated animals. These are considered domesticated. Those that pass the night in the town, and range animals, those that pass the night in the pasture. Hadron
It's Beta, and tomorrow is Rosh Hashanah. Tomorrow is Rosh Hashanah.
Tomorrow.
It's
coming soon enough. Okay. I was thinking the other day that Sukkot is going to be late this year. It's going to be very cool outside.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that yesterday. Okay. Here we go. Right. Ant holes among the standing corn are the owners, and of those after the reapers, the upper corns are for the poor, and the lower ones are for the owners. The mayor says all are for the poor. The doubling a double doubtful leket is leket. I'm sorry. A heap under which leket has been not been gathered, whatever touches the ground belongs to the poor. If the wind scatter the sheaves, he assessed it. How much leket would yield, and that gives it to the poor. The Rishimon ben Gamliel says he gives to the poor as much as he usually falls. As an ear of the farmers whose top reaches the standing corn, if it is reaped with the standing corn, it belongs to the owner, and if not, it belongs to the poor. If an ear of leket became mixed up in the heap, he takes miser from one ear and gives it to him. If Eliezer said, how can this poor person be exchanged something which has not come into possession? Rather, he transfers to the poor person ownership of the entire heap, and he takes miser from one ear and gives it to him.
Okay.
Good.
Yo.
Okay, great. Have a great day. Feel well.
Good day.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, quickly, what were your symptoms in COVID? Just wondering.